All right, so what we're going to do today is that I'm just going to wrap up regional integration. So I'm going to ask someone to read this quote for me, please. Go ahead
It,
for me, please.
it refers to the process of voluntary decisions taken by independent nations to obtain greater levels of cooperation and reciprocity. Res- mhm. It is first and foremost a political act. Cynthia Barrow-Giles.
Thank you very much, McDonald. So if based on this definition, what is regional integration? Cynthia Barjaz is saying that it is something that you volunteer. Independent countries volunteer to be part of an economic or political union, some form of union, right? It is voluntary. You volunteer. Nobody force you, but sometimes the issues that are around you, you're forced to integrate. All right. So it is a political act. Now, what is the goal of regional integration? May I have another reader for me, please? Or the same, Anya, if you want to read it for me.
Okay, what is the goal of regional integration? Barrow-Giles states, regional integration has been designed to provide framework for harmonization among member states that share a geographical identity on a variety of issues.
All right, good. Thank you very much. So, in other words, because regional integration is one of the goal is that you have people within the same geographic space and they have some of the very same issues. And so because of these issues that they have within that geographic space, they integrate to see how they can maneuver those issues. Now, one of the things with regional integration that we need to know is that not only Caribbean has regional integration, but all over the world there's integration. In Africa, you have the African Union. In Europe, you have the European Union. In Asia, you have the Asian Union. I can't remember the name of it. In North America, you have the North American Union between Canada and the United States. Central America also has their union. South America has their union. Every single region of the world have some form of regional uh, union. So when we hear about regional integration, it is not unique to the Caribbean. It is not unique to the Caribbean. It is something that is being practiced currently right across the world. And we in the Caribbean cannot allow ourselves to be left behind in this in the regional integration movement. Because if every other region is united and we are not united here in the Caribbean, then everybody can come and bully us and do us all different type of stuff. So integration is very important. Now we integrate, some people integrate because of political reasons, economic reasons, cultural reasons, technical reasons, security reasons, or social reasons. Now, why should we integrate? One, we have a common cultural heritage or historical heritage. Whether or not we want to agree with it, that's the fact. We need to integrate because of cultural heritage. Uh, they, we have some very common economic problems. We have some very common social issues. If you look at the effects of globalization on the Caribbean, we need to integrate to combat some of the negative effects of globalization and trade liberalization. And also because we are a vulnerable region, everything happen, we get the blunt of it. If the world have a world recession, everything crumble in the Caribbean. We have COVID, everything crumble in the Caribbean. We have natural disaster every single year. We have natural disaster, whether it's earthquake, whether it's volcano, whether it's hurricane. First of all, before the hurricane reach anywhere else, it touch us and go up north. So we are a very vulnerable region, and therefore we have to integrate to overcome some of those issues. Now, integration in the region has always been an attempt of the Caribbean. From as early as 1833, we have the Windward Island Federation between Grenada, St. Vincent, St. Lucia, and Tobago. Then you had the Leeward Island Federation, and then in 1958 was the Caribbean, the West Indies Federation. Now, with the West Indies Federation, the aim was that all of us were, the British West Indies Federation is that all of us were, at the time, we were British colonies. And so Britain established a federation so that she could have given us independence as one country. That was the purpose of federation, to give us independence as one single Caribbean country, right? Not as Jamaica, not as Barbados, not as Trinidad. Everybody should have their own, not as individual nationality, but as one Caribbean country with one flag, one national anthem, one Olympics team, one economy, one currency, one foreign space. That was the aim of West Indies Federation, but shockingly, West Indies Federation failed. West Indies Federation failed, not really shockingly, but it was something that was, I think we couldn't stop it, because one, each Caribbean country feel like they are better than others. Jamaica feel like because they are big, they are better than the other Caribbean countries. Trinidad feel like because them have oil them better. Barbados believe because their literacy rate is so good, they are above everybody else. Yes. And there's a lot of different issues why federation failed. The British West Indies Federation failed. Jamaica was the first to lead federation. I said, listen, we want to go independence by ourselves. We want our own flag. We want our own national anthem. We want our own nationality. We want to vote for our own prime minister. We want our own governor general. We are the cultural house of the Caribbean, so we feel like we are better than everybody else and we should not integrate. In fact, prior to that, they had a lot of different issues over the federation. One was the structure. They wanted some Caribbean countries to pay taxes. Jamaica to fund most of the taxes of the federation problem. Bustamante and the JLP didn't want federation. He said Jamaica can walk, Trinidad is attempting to walk, Barbados is creeping, and everybody else attempting to cannot walk. Something to that effect. Bustamante insult the other Caribbean countries. Then the premier of Barbados, who was prime minister of the federation, Sir Grantley Adams, he also insulted the Caribbean. He went to New York and he said, Barbados is the most industrious country in the Caribbean. Jamaicans are illiterate, yes, that's what he said. And all Trinidadians know to do is to dance calypso. Trinidadians make some, and Jamaican vex. Problem. Then you have another problem when it comes to federation. Where the capitals, if we're going to get independence as one country, we need a capital city. Where the federal capital is going to be. Trinidad want the federal capital to be in Trinidad. Jamaica wanted to be in Kingston. Barbados wanted to be in, especially Trinidad and Jamaica, fighting over where the capital of the federation should be. Problem. How much seats Jamaica should have in the federal parliament? How much seat Barbados should have? How much seat? Jamaica felt that she should have most of the seat because she has the most of the population. Problem. And so in 1961, Jamaica voted that they are going to leave the federation. And so Jamaica got their independence on their own. Accomplishment. Despite that, during the period of the federation, we had a civil service, we had a shipping company, one Caribbean shipping company. The University College of the West Indies came about as a result of that. So there are some achievement, and also, yes, those are some of the achievements. Then after that, we got independence. 1962, Jamaica got their independence. Trinidad followed Barbados and Guyana after, and then all the other territories got their independence after, British Caribbean territories. So once we got our independence, the next issue is that, listen, we are young nations, we have problems, we don't have Britain there to protect us anymore. So we have to paddle our own canoe. And one way is that we are so small and insignificant that, guess what? We need to form some form of integration to overcome the different challenge as small states. And it's the same reason why Britain didn't want to give us independence as individual states, because Britain know that population determines significance. Population determines significance. The larger your population on the world as a country, the more people would recognize you, either for economic reason or selfish or good reason, but they will recognize you. As small island states, we're going to have problems. So in 1965, in Dickinson Bay, they are going to form CARICOM, right, which is the Caribbean Free Trade Association. What was the objective of CARICOM? One, to increase trade between the Caribbean countries, to ensure that the Caribbean market has a diversity of goods, to have free trade, ensure that there's fair competition in the Caribbean, and there's equitable distribution of goods in the Caribbean. As a result of CARICOM, two things come out of CARICOM that is very important. One, there was increased regional trade in the Caribbean. We start to trade among each other. Next thing, we had a game that came out of it where we have the CARICOM games where we play sports together, like our little Caribbean mini Olympics. Uh, and then I will still continues today. And also we have the cultural aspect of CARICOM where we showcase our different cultural talents, whether through drama, speech, and all of these different things. As Caribbean people, we're good when it comes to the theater arts, we're good when it comes to the drama, we're good when it comes to the singing. And so CARICOM provided that arena. By 1973, the Caribbean said, listen, we need to move away from CARICOM, just where we increase trade or diversify trade. We need to have a common market, right? And by 81, they organized another regional integration movement started between the islands of Dominica, Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, St. Vincent. And this is the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States. CARICOM is separate from the OECS, two separate regional movements here. But in 1973, CARICOM was formed, the Caribbean Community and Common Market. And by 83, Bahamas became also joined. And by 1995, Suriname, and 2002, Haiti. Now, these are three separate regional integration movements. In the Caribbean, there are several different more, but if you can realize that countries are part of more than one regional integration movement. So, for example, Antigua is part of CARICOM, she's part of OECS, and she's part of the Association of Caribbean States. Jamaica is part of CARICOM and the Association of Caribbean States. And there's another movement in the Caribbean which is called CARIFTA, not CARIFTA, CARIFONA. And that is also another. So we have had several over the years. What are some of the functions of CARICOM? CARICOM has three main functions. Economic function, which means that we have a common market. So in Jamaica, we have a single market or common, well, single common is two different stuff. But we have a common market in Jamaica where goods move from one part of Jamaica to the next. You move goods from St. Elizabeth to Montego Bay, from Montego Bay to Kingston. Movement, we have one employment rule, we have one trade rule, we have one tax rule, we have one everything. Single market. In the same way, the aim of CARICOM is to develop this common market or a single market where people can move freely from Barbados to Antigua, from Antigua to Guyana, or from Guyana to Suriname, move freely without any problem, like how you're moving from Spanish Town to Kingston or Portmore to Kingston every morning. Yes, that is the goal of it, a common market where you move, where we have a common currency, we spend the same money, a common, we call it now, a common rule in terms of things, taxation policies, trade rules. That is the aim, to integrate. Economic integration is one of the objectives of CARICOM. Another one is a functional cooperation. So we need to integrate when it comes to things like health, education. These are things that are non-economic. Transportation, those are the goals. We are yet to reach the transportation. We have made some strides when it comes to health. Education, I believe we are doing the best when it comes to CXC and UE. And another one is foreign policy coordination, meaning as Caribbean countries, when we go, as all Caribbean countries, when we go to the UN, or when we go and talk with the United States, or we go and talk with European Union or African Union, we speak as one voice and not separate voices. And so that's one of the three functions. Now I just want to zero in on the functional areas. So we have health, meteorology, education, sports, culture, media. So these are some of the achievements of CARICOM when it comes to functional integration. But I want to zero in on CXC. Despite the many complaints people have about CXC, CXC is one of the best accomplishments of a regional integration movement, not only in the Caribbean, but through the entire world. There is no other part of the world where they have a single examining body based on the region. Not in North America, not in Europe, not in Africa, not in Asia, not in Central America, not in South America. The Caribbean is the only place in the world that you have a single examining body, and that is an accomplishment. Same thing with UE. We have one university owned by several different Caribbean countries. So UE in Jamaica is not owned by Jamaica. UE in Barbados is not owned by Barbados. UE in Trinidad is not owned by Trinidad. UE, the University of the West Indies, is owned by 17 Caribbean countries, and UE is for the Caribbean, not individual countries. So Mona is located in Jamaica. It is not Jamaican University. It is Caribbean University owned by 17 countries. Same thing with Caville, same thing with St. Augustine in Trinidad. All right. So agriculture is another area. We have the Caribbean Agricultural Research and Development Institute, where we coordinate research when it comes to agriculture and share these information among Caribbean countries. We have a single lab in the Caribbean because all of us can't afford some of the equipment to test certain diseases and all of these different stuff. And so we do have a single lab in Trinidad that we send all our different blood samples there for testing. Maybe we can improve that by having it in different islands, but we don't have the money as poor countries or developing countries to have the same machine replicate throughout the region. And so we have quite a lot of different institutions when it comes to CARICOM. Now, in 1984, CARICOM decided they want to move a little faster by integrating, by having free movement of people. Therefore, what do we mean by free movement of people? People from Jamaica can move to Barbados without problem. If you want to move there, you want to work and live, you should move. Same thing with people from Guyana to Jamaica, from Barbados to Jamaica, Grenada to Jamaica, or Jamaica to Grenada. They're supposed to move around this space freely, free movement of people. But guess what? Caribbean has a lot of problems. We don't want any form of integration. Well, some of us want it, some of us do not. Integration. Free movement of people. No problems. You go to Trinidad, you have problems. People come to Jamaica, same problems. They're not treating the Americans the same way they treat Caribbean people. They're not treating the British citizens the same way. They're not treating the Caribbean, the Canadians the same way. The only people we have strength for is our own people. So when Jamaicans go to Barbados or Guyanese go to Barbados, you show them the passport, problem. When other people from other Caribbean countries come here, they put them in a long line or put them in a room, put them in room. They're not doing the Americans that, they're not doing the Canadians that, they're not doing the British citizens that, no, but we treat Caribbean people badly, right across the board. And then also free movement of goods. We have no problem with the goods coming into Price Mart. Nobody ever come up and say, all right, let us ban goods coming in from the US. No, because you need your Kellogg's cornflakes, you needed this, you needed that, you need all the American goods. I have never hear one time citizens in the Caribbean calling to ban US. If US do something bad, or Canada do something bad, or the UK do something bad, we're not going to call and say, oh, let us ban goods from those territories. No. But Trinidad and Jamaica in a problem, somebody is telling you to ban all goods from Trinidad. Don't buy Trinidadian goods. Our Trinidadians don't buy Jamaican goods. And so there are problems in CARICOM. There are problems among member states. We also, a part of the Grandance Declaration was the establishment of a parliament, Caribbean Parliament. We are yet to establish that. Passport, we have a CARICOM passport, but it prevents problems when it comes to free movement? No. Still have the same challenges. CCJ, we plan to have, well, in 2005, we signed to have CCJ in its original jurisdiction, meaning that it's a trade court where it should solve any trade issues between Caribbean countries. That is its original jurisdiction. And also it has another jurisdiction, which is its appellate jurisdiction. The truth and in fact is that in 2005, that was the aim of Caribbean, that all of us have joined CCJ in its original and appellate jurisdiction. Right now, the only countries that remove the Privy Council, Barbados, Trinidad, Barbados, Dominica, Guyana, and Belize. Those are the 4 countries that have CCJ as its appellate jurisdiction, its final court. All of us have it as in its original jurisdiction as a trade court, but not as a final court. Why is it that Jamaica is not part of CCJ? Why is it that the government of Jamaica, where Portia Simsimila tried, PJ Patterson tried, but the JLP is adamant that we shouldn't have the CCJ? Serious problems here, because the Caribbean Court of Justice is very important. It is a transit court, meaning that the judges come to each individual country. Right now, we can't access full justice in Jamaica, because in order to go to the Privy Council in England, one, you have to buy a plane ticket, you have to hotel, you have to pay this lawyer fee, this, that, all different levels. It is so expensive, and everything is in pound. With a weak currency like our currency, how the poor man going to access justice? So it seems as if justice is just for the elites. That's very bad. Maybe that's one of the reasons why we have so much crime and violence in Jamaica. It's not going to change. With all the efforts that they have, it's not going to change, because one, to have a fair and just society, you need people to have access to justice, even to its highest courts in the land. Now, we do have access to Privy Council, the Privy Council is way abroad. So these are some of the, and then another way in which CARICOM is elitist is that well, I'm saying it is elitist in this area specifically, is that you have free movement of people from skilled and professional like university lecturers, graduates, visual arts, sports people, media people. They can move around the Caribbean freely with a CARICOM skill certificate. But what about the domestic workers? What about the vendors or the farmers who want to sell their goods in other Caribbean countries and want to move around freely? It is just people with degree or who have very good sports skills or can media propagandists or those who are in visual arts and the performing arts can move around the region freely without